The dangerous thing about betrayal isn't the moment you discover it. It's how long it was happening while you were still protecting the person hurting you. If Liam Harris had understood that sooner, he might have seen the warning signs months earlier. But Liam wasn't the kind of man who looked for betrayal. He was the kind who built things meant to last. At 42, Liam Harris owned Harris Off-Road and Performance, a respected custom truck and 4x4 restoration shop on the industrial edge of Bozeman, Montana. It wasn't flashy. No glass offices, no corporate branding, no investors. Just steel, tools, and reputation. The kind of place where people brought vehicles they depended on for work, not status. Construction crews, ranchers, search and rescue volunteers, hunters preparing for winter terrain, machines that had to work. Just like Liam, he had built the shop over nearly 2 decades, starting with a single rented unit behind an old welding yard and a toolbox he bought secondhand. Winter had nearly killed the business twice. Summers saved it every time. Now he had 5 bays, 3 full-time mechanics, 1 fabrication specialist, contracts with 2 local companies, and bookings nearly 4 weeks out. He wasn't rich, but he was stable. And to Liam, stability meant success. His wife didn't believe that anymore. Melissa Miller had once loved that stability. When they met 12 years earlier, she had been working double shifts at a roadside diner. Confident, sharp, warm in a way that made people feel noticed. Liam fell for her because she wasn't impressed by money. Or at least, that was what he believed then. They married 3 years later. Liam stepped into another role too. Melissa had a 5-year-old son from a previous relationship. Derek Miller, quiet kid, observant, the kind of child who watched before trusting. Liam never tried to replace Derek's biological father. He just showed up. School pickups, science projects, basketball practice, late-night fevers. Broken bike chains. Trust wasn't demanded. It was earned slowly. When Derek was 12, he started saying "Dad" without thinking about it. Liam never corrected him, never asked for it. But the first time it happened, he sat alone in his truck afterward, gripping the steering wheel, overwhelmed by a responsibility he took more seriously than biology. Derek didn't have his last name, but he had his loyalty. And Liam would later realize that loyalty would be tested more than anything else. The first real crack in Liam's marriage didn't come from an argument. It came disguised as opportunity. His name was Benjamin Brown, mid-40s, business consultant, perfectly measured confidence, calm voice, expensive watch, the kind of smile that never showed uncertainty, the kind of man who understood leverage. Liam distrusted him immediately, not because of anything obvious, because Benjamin looked too comfortable in a place he should have felt out of place. Men in $1,000 jackets usually noticed grease stains. Benjamin didn't. Melissa insisted he was exactly what the business needed. "We've hit a ceiling," she told Liam one evening after dinner. Derek was upstairs finishing homework. The house was quiet, normal, at least on the surface. "The shop is doing well," Liam answered calmly. Melissa leaned forward slightly. "We could be doing exceptional." That word again. Exceptional. Benjamin had apparently said that. Liam didn't like hearing another man's ambition echoing through his own kitchen. "What does exceptional cost?" Liam asked. "Expansion." Expansion meant loans. Loans meant risk. Risk meant losing control. Liam didn't refuse. He asked something simpler. "Show me the numbers." Melissa said Benjamin was preparing projections. Weeks passed. No projections came. But other things started changing. Subtle things. Melissa started dressing differently, not dramatically, just gradually. Higher quality fabrics, more tailored cuts, perfume he didn't recognize. Shoes that didn't match their usual lifestyle. Nothing obvious enough to question. Everything is noticeable enough to feel. Liam noticed something else too. Her phone habits changed. Always face down. Always within reach. Always silent. Liam wasn't suspicious by nature, but he was a mechanic, and mechanics survive by noticing small inconsistencies before they become failures. Then came the meetings. Lunch meetings, coffee meetings, dinner with potential partners, late returns, new vocabulary, brand positioning, market scaling, strategic repositioning. Words Liam never heard before Benjamin arrived. Then something else disappeared. Melissa stopped asking about his day, stopped touching his shoulder when she passed, stopped laughing at stories she once loved. Correction replaced curiosity. Comparison replaced support. and Benjamin's opinions started appearing in conversations more often than Liam's. The real turning point came quietly, like most real damage does. Liam was reviewing supply invoices one evening when something didn't align. Not dramatically, just slightly. Vendor totals are a little higher. Processing routes are slightly different. A new financial service he didn't recognize. When he asked Melissa, she answered immediately. Too immediately. Tax efficiency restructuring. Confident, prepared, rehearsed. That bothered him more than the numbers, because she had an explanation before he fully asked the question. From that moment, Liam started noticing more. Not spying, observing. Calendar entries marked only with initials. Calls she stepped outside to take. Receipts that never made it into shared files. Energy invested elsewhere. One night she came home after midnight. Not drunk, not messy, just energized. Like someone who had spent hours being admired. Liam sat at the kitchen island in the dark. He hadn't planned confrontation. Sleep just hadn't come. She froze slightly seeing him. Liam, Jesus, you scared me. What time is it? Late meeting. What kind? She exhaled slowly. The kind that builds our future. Liam didn't argue, but something inside him shifted, because that sentence didn't include him. 3 days later, his friend Sam Moore said something he couldn't ignore. Sam owned Moore Auto Supply across town. They had known each other since vocational school. Sam wasn't dramatic, wasn't reckless with words, which is why Liam listened. Do you want the truth or the version that helps you sleep? Liam already knew. The truth. Sam hesitated. I saw Melissa with Brown. Liam stayed still. Business dinner? Sam shook his head slowly. No. That single word landed heavier than any accusation. They weren't sitting like partners. Silence filled the small office. Liam could feel his pulse in his throat. You sure? Sam nodded. My assistant waited their table. Liam didn't ask details. Sam gave them anyway, close talking, her hand on his arm, leaving together. Parking lot behavior that didn't look professional. Liam felt something inside him become very quiet. Not anger, something colder. Understanding beginning to form. I need to know for sure. Sam frowned. You really want that? If it was your wife? Sam didn't answer immediately, then nodded once. Yeah. 2 nights later, the call came. They're here. 9:18 p.m. Melissa had left earlier saying, investor dinner. Liam told Derek he needed to check an emergency drivetrain issue. Derek barely looked up from his console. Okay, Dad. Dad. That word hit harder than anything Sam had said. The bar was called The Copper Rail, a place that looked frozen somewhere between 1998 and now. Same cracked booths, same neon signs, same regulars. Liam didn't rush. He walked in calm, because part of him still hoped Sam was wrong. Sam wasn't wrong. Back booth. Melissa leaned toward Benjamin, laughing, her hand resting on his thigh like it belonged there. Not accidental, not brief, comfortable. Benjamin said something. She touched his chest. Liam didn't need to hear words. Because betrayal doesn't live in conversation. It lives in behavior. And Liam understood behavior. He rebuilt damaged systems for a living. He knew what disassembly looked like. And in that moment, he realized someone had been dismantling his life piece by piece, and he had unknowingly handed them access. He left without being seen. Not because he was weak, because he was done reacting blindly. That night, Liam Harris stopped being a husband trying to save a marriage, and started becoming a man trying to understand how much of his life had already been moved without his knowledge. What he didn't know yet was that the affair was only the visible betrayal. The real damage was already hidden inside his business finances, waiting. And it was far worse than cheating. The hardest part wasn't seeing it. It was accepting that what he saw wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. Liam Harris didn't remember leaving the copper rail, only the silence afterward, the kind of silence that follows impact. He sat in his truck across the street with both hands resting on the steering wheel, not gripping it, not shaking, just still. Like a man recalculating everything he thought he knew. For a few dangerous seconds, anger tried to take control. He imagined walking back inside, dragging Benjamin Brown across the floor, demanding answers, breaking something. But Liam had never been a reactionary man. He was a builder, and builders knew something important. Destruction is easy. Precision takes discipline. So instead of going back inside, he drove home. Sam Moore found him the next morning at the shop before opening. Sam didn't ask if Liam had seen them. He saw the answer in Liam's face. "You okay?" Liam didn't pretend. "No." Sam nodded slowly. "What now?" Liam wiped grease from his hands with a rag, movements controlled, mechanical. "I don't know yet." Then after a pause, "But whatever I do, it's going to happen on my timeline, not theirs." That was the moment something shifted. Not heartbreak, strategy. When Liam got home that night, Melissa was already there, relaxed, normal, too normal. She said her meeting had ended early. She even tried to be affectionate. That alone told Liam something was wrong, because affection had become rare lately. He made an excuse about exhaustion. She accepted it quickly, too quickly, and fell asleep within minutes. Liam didn't sleep at all. He lay awake staring at the ceiling, listening to the rhythm of her breathing, and wondering when exactly his marriage had become something he was no longer part of. The final confirmation came from someone Liam never expected: Derek. It was a Saturday afternoon at the shop. They were replacing a transmission on a Tacoma. Derek had become good with tools, careful, methodical. Liam had taught him to respect torque settings more than speed. Out of nowhere, Derek asked, "Dad, is Mom cheating on you?" Liam nearly dropped the ratchet. "What makes you think that?" Derek hesitated, not scared, careful. "I heard her talking on the phone last week." Liam stayed quiet. "She said stuff like, 'He doesn't suspect anything, and I miss you already.'" The words hit harder coming from Derek than they ever could have from Sam. Because this wasn't suspicion anymore. This was collateral damage. "She's also always texting," Derek continued, "and she hides her screen when someone walks in." Liam felt something heavy settle in his chest. "I don't know for sure," he said carefully, "but I'm going to find out." Derek handed him the next socket without being asked. "If she is, it's not your fault." Liam looked at him. "Why would you say that?" Derek shrugged. "Because you're not the one lying." Then after a moment, "And Brown's a jerk anyway." Liam almost smiled despite everything. "Watch the language." "I'm serious," Derek said. "He talks to me like I'm a little kid." Then Derek added something that changed everything. "He came by the house last week when you were picking up parts." Liam froze. "What?" "Mom thought I was at Jake's house." Derek's jaw tightened. "But I came back early." Liam didn't speak. They were in the kitchen. Pause. He had his hands on her. Liam closed his eyes briefly. "In our house?" Derek nodded. "I didn't say anything. I went outside, slammed the door, then came back in loud like I just arrived." "What happened?" They were sitting at the table with papers, acting like nothing happened. Liam felt something inside him turn from pain into cold clarity. Disrespect was one thing, planning was another. Derek hesitated again. "There's something else." He pulled a folded paper from his pocket. "I wasn't snooping, I needed a pen." Her drawer was open. Liam unfolded it slowly. Bank statement. Account in Melissa's name only. Balance just over $60,000. Liam frowned. "Where did this come from?" "Look at the deposit dates," Derek said. "They match payments from the shop." Liam stared at him. "You figured that out?" Derek shrugged. "I'm not stupid." That hurt and impressed Liam at the same time. "I know something bad is happening," Derek said quietly. Liam pulled him into a rough hug. "Blood didn't define family. Choice did." "You're not stupid," Liam said. "And I promise you, I'm going to fix this." That night, Liam stopped wondering and started investigating. Melissa fell asleep around midnight. Liam waited another hour, then opened her laptop. Her password hadn't changed. Derek's birthday. The same one she used for everything. Trust had made Liam predictable. Predictability had made him vulnerable. The evidence wasn't even deeply hidden. Emails, transfers, invoices, structured payments to consulting entities, fake vendor accounts. What Liam saw wasn't random theft. It was methodical, systematic. Benjamin wasn't just having an affair, he was executing a financial extraction. Melissa wasn't just involved, she was participating. Then Liam found something worse, an email thread labeled expansion strategy. Benjamin had written, "Once we get his parents to sign collateral authorization, we're clear. Land valuation alone gives us leverage for at least $1.4 million. Melissa replied, "He won't question it. He trusts anything tied to the business." Another message, "By spring, we could liquidate and disappear. Costa Rica, maybe." Liam felt his hands go cold. This wasn't betrayal. This was demolition. They weren't just draining his business. They were targeting his parents' farm. His phone felt heavy when he picked it up. He forced his voice calm when his father answered. "Hey, Dad, has anyone talked to you about a business loan?" A pause. "Funny you ask," his father said. "Melissa stopped by yesterday, said you were expanding and needed collateral." Liam closed his eyes. "And?" "Told her we'd think about it. Your mom wasn't convinced." Relief hit like oxygen. "Don't sign anything." "Son, what's going on?" Liam hesitated. "I'll explain tomorrow." The next morning, Liam drove out to the farm. Cold air, open sky, fields stretching past memory, the kind of place built on work instead of appearance. Everything Benjamin Brown would never understand. His father, Robert Harris, was waiting on the porch. 70, still strong, still sharp. "You look like a man carrying weight," Robert said. Not a question. Liam sat beside him. "Yeah." And then Liam told him everything. The affair, the theft, the plan. His mother, Elaine, joined halfway through. Her face hardened as she listened. "I never trusted her instincts," she admitted quietly. "Why didn't you say something?" Liam asked. Elaine squeezed his hand gently. "Would you have listened?" Liam didn't answer. His father did. "You trusted your wife," Robert said firmly. "That doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest." Then more quietly, "She's the one who chose otherwise." "What do you need from us?" Robert asked. "Don't sign anything. And if they contact you, call me immediately." Robert nodded. "You have a plan?" Liam looked out at the fields. "I'm building one." "What about Derek?" Elaine asked softly. "He knows." Elaine's eyes softened. "Bring him this weekend. He shouldn't sit inside that tension." Liam nodded. Back in town, Liam made the next move. He didn't confront Melissa. He didn't confront Benjamin. He did something far more dangerous. He hired protection. Ellen Cortez was known as the most relentless attorney in Gallatin County. She didn't advertise, she didn't lose often, and she didn't tolerate stupidity. When Liam finished explaining, she didn't react emotionally. She reacted professionally. "Do you have copies?" Liam slid a folder across her desk. She flipped through slowly, then looked up. "You're not dealing with an affair." She paused. "You're dealing with fraud." Then after another moment, an attempted asset seizure. Liam asked the only question that mattered. "Can they take what's mine?" Ellen's answer was immediate. "Not if we move first." Liam felt something return for the first time in weeks. Control. "Then let's move." And for the first time since the night at the bar, Liam Harris wasn't reacting anymore. He was preparing. And Benjamin Brown had no idea that the man he thought he was manipulating had just started fighting back. Revenge, Liam would later realize, wasn't about anger. It was about timing. Anger reacts. Strategy waits. When Liam finished explaining everything to Ellen Cortez, she didn't interrupt once. She simply reviewed the documents, occasionally making small notes in the margins like a surgeon marking incision points. When she finally leaned back in her chair, her expression wasn't shocking. It was satisfied. "You didn't just catch them," she said calmly. "You documented them." Liam said nothing. Financial diversion, fraud exposure, conspiracy, attempted asset leverage using your parents' property. She closed the folder. "They're not careful." Liam asked the only thing he cared about. "Can they still hurt my parents?" "No." Her answer was immediate. "Not if we control the timing." Liam frowned slightly. "What does that mean?" "It means we haven't moved yet." That wasn't what Liam expected. "Why?" "Because right now," she said, "they believe they're winning. She tapped the documents. If they realize you know, they panic. And panicked criminals destroy evidence. Liam understood that logic immediately. So what do we do? Ellen's answer was simple. We let them keep talking. Pause. We let them get comfortable. Another pause. Then we remove the ground under their feet. Liam exhaled slowly. The idea of going home and pretending everything was normal felt worse than the betrayal itself. But discipline had always been his strength. Okay, he said. We wait. That same night at dinner, Melissa mentioned something casually that would become the turning point. My cousin is getting married in 2 weeks. She twirled pasta around her fork like nothing in the world was wrong. Big wedding, country club. Liam nodded. Sounds nice. Then carefully. Is Benjamin going? She paused, barely noticeable. But Liam saw everything now. I think so. They became friends through the business discussions. Liam lifted his glass calmly. It'll be good to talk with him outside work. Melissa studied his face, trying to detect something. Liam gave her nothing. Yes, she said slowly. I think you two should get to know each other better. Liam held her gaze. Oh, I plan to. They clinked glasses. She smiled like someone confident in a victory already secured. Liam smiled like someone who already knew the ending. That night, Liam didn't sleep much. Not from anxiety, from preparation. He sat alone in the garage with the lights off, reviewing timelines in his head. Not revenge fantasies, sequence control, evidence timing, exposure positioning, the difference between reacting and ending something permanently. The morning of the wedding arrived bright and clear. Montana sky stretched endless and cold blue above the mountains. The kind of day that usually reminded Liam why he loved his life. Now it just felt like a closing chapter. He wore the same suit he had worn at his own wedding. It still fit. A little tighter across the shoulders now. Years of work had changed his body. Work had changed everything. Melissa appeared in a deep red dress. Elegant, expensive, carefully chosen. 8 years earlier, seeing her like that would have made his chest tighten. Now he felt something else. Distance. You look handsome, she said, adjusting his tie. Her fingers lingered. Liam felt something close to grief. Not for her, for the version of reality he had believed in. You look beautiful, he answered honestly. She smiled. That same smile from the diner years ago. This is going to be a night to remember. Liam nodded. Yeah, it is. The ceremony passed like background noise. Music, vows, applause. None of it mattered. Liam wasn't watching the wedding. He was watching behavior. At the reception, Melissa disappeared within minutes. Liam didn't follow. He didn't need to. Sam Moore appeared beside him near the bar. You look like a man holding back a storm. Liam took a sip of whiskey. I'm exactly where I need to be. Sam studied him carefully. You sure? Liam nodded slightly. I've got it handled. Sam placed a hand briefly on his shoulder. You know I've got your back. I know. Across the room, Melissa and Benjamin weren't even pretending anymore. Close dancing, private conversations, hands where they shouldn't be. Confidence of people who believed they were untouchable. That was their mistake. When the band shifted into a slow song, they moved to the center of the dance floor. Visible, comfortable, certain. That was Liam's signal, not confrontation. Confirmation. He walked instead toward Melissa's sister, Rebecca Miller. She looked up immediately. Liam, everything okay? Liam sat beside her. Rebecca, I need your help. She heard something in his voice. Her expression changed instantly. What happened? Liam removed his wedding ring, the first time it had left his hand in 8 years. He placed it gently in her palm. I need you to give this to your sister. Rebecca stared at the ring, then at Liam. Liam, what is this? Tell her I know. Her face went pale. Know what? Everything. He didn't raise his voice, didn't dramatize. I know about Benjamin. Pause. I know about the money. Pause. I know about the plan involving my parents. Rebecca whispered, Oh my God. I just wanted you to understand why I'm leaving tonight. Liam continued calmly. What about Derek? She asked. I'm taking him home. Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. Liam gave a small nod. No one deserves betrayal. Then, after a pause, but everyone gets to decide how they answer it. As he stood, she asked, "What should I tell her when she asks where you went?" Liam looked once toward the dance floor. "Tell her to enjoy the song." Pause. "It's the last dance she'll have before reality hits." Liam found Derek sitting with other teenagers pretending to enjoy the event. "You ready to go?" Derek looked relieved. "Please, say goodbye to your grandparents." "I'll meet you outside." As Derek left, Liam took one last look at the dance floor. Melissa and Benjamin are still dancing, still confident, still unaware. Liam felt no victory, just closure beginning. He walked outside. Cool night air, silence. For the first time in months, his mind felt clear. As he reached his truck, a voice stopped him. "Leaving early?" Benjamin Brown. Slightly drunk, still arrogant. Liam didn't turn immediately, then calmly, "What do you want?" Benjamin smiled. "Just wondering why you'd leave your wife alone." Liam met his eyes. "She's not alone." Pause. "She has you." Benjamin's smile flickered. "I don't know what you're implying." Liam stepped closer. No anger, just certainty. "I know exactly what you're doing." Benjamin froze. "You're mistaken." Liam pulled out his phone, opened one email, showed him one line. Costa Rica, liquidation timeline. Benjamin's face was drained of color. "We can discuss this," Benjamin said quietly. "Professionally." Liam actually laughed, not loud, just disbelief. "You think this is negotiation?" Benjamin lowered his voice. "Keep your voice down." Liam leaned slightly closer. "Why?" Pause. "Afraid someone might hear who you really are?" Benjamin grabbed his jacket. Liam removed the hand calmly. "You don't understand who you're dealing with," Benjamin said. Liam answered quietly, "No." Pause. "You don't understand who you chose to steal from." Then Liam said the sentence that changed everything. "I already gave everything to my attorney." Benjamin went completely still. "And by tomorrow," Liam continued, "law enforcement will have copies too." Benjamin tried one last bluff. "You're bluffing." Liam shook his head slowly. "Ask Melissa what Derek found." That hit. Benjamin stepped back. This wasn't panic yet, but it was the first crack. "This isn't over," Benjamin said. Liam answered calmly, "No." Pause. "It already is." At that moment, Derek walked up. "Dad?" Liam put an arm around his shoulders. "Everything's fine." Then calmly, "Mr. Brown was just leaving." Benjamin looked between them, realizing something had shifted. For the first time, he wasn't in control. And Liam Harris finally was. Benjamin Brown stood there for one more second like a man trying to calculate whether confidence could still save him. It couldn't. Then he turned and walked back toward the country club with quick, rigid steps that no longer looked controlled. They looked scared. Derek glanced up at Liam as they got into the truck. "What was that about?" Liam started the engine. "Just closing out some business." Then after a beat, "Tomorrow's going to be a big day." Derek didn't press. Maybe because he already understood more than any 15-year-old should have had to understand. The ride home was quiet. Not awkward, just heavy. The kind of quiet that comes when two people know something has ended, even if the rest of the world hasn't caught up yet. That night, Liam and Derek talked longer than they ever had. Not like stepfather and stepson, like two people standing in the same wreckage trying to make sense of it. Liam told him the truth in measured pieces. Not every ugly detail, just enough. The affair, the money, the plan involving the farm. Derek listened without interrupting, elbows on his knees, eyes fixed on the floor. When Liam finished, Derek nodded once. "I figured it was bad." Liam studied him. "You're taking this better than I expected." Derek gave a short, humorless laugh. "That's because this didn't start tonight." Liam stayed quiet. "She's been different for months," Derek said. "Meaner, colder, like she was already gone." That hurt more than Liam expected, because children noticed what adults tried to explain away. Before bed, Liam called his parents again, warned them one more time not to sign anything, told them he would explain everything fully soon. Then he sent Ellen Cortez the final wedding night update, including the confrontation with Benjamin in the parking lot and confirmation that Benjamin now knew the illusion of control was gone. Ellen replied 11 minutes later, "Good. Move first thing in the morning. Freeze exposure, lock assets. Do not engage emotionally." That last line mattered. Do not engage emotionally. Liam read it twice. Then he went into the kitchen, stood in the dark, and accepted something he had resisted for too long. By morning, whatever remained of his marriage would stop existing in any meaningful form. The next day began before sunrise. Liam barely slept. He was at the kitchen table with coffee by 5:40 a.m., legal pad open, phone charged, documents stacked in order. Derek was still asleep. The house was silent. At 8:57, Liam made the first call, then the second, then the third. Joint accounts were flagged and frozen pending fraud review. Shop access credentials were revoked. Vendor authorization lists were updated. The business payment platform was locked. The shop's exterior locks were already scheduled for replacement. By 9:15, Melissa's access to the company email, bookkeeping software, and supplier portal was gone. By 9:22, Benjamin's consultant credentials had been formally terminated in writing. By 9:31, Ellen had filed emergency motions related to asset protection, fraud preservation, and immediate financial restraint requests. By 9:43, Melissa started calling. Liam let the phone ring, then came the texts. "Where are you? Why are my cards being declined? Call me right now. Whatever this is, you're making it worse." He ignored every one of them, because people like Melissa always called it escalation when they lost access to what they were taking. At 11:08, she showed up at the house. She didn't knock at first. She pounded, hard. Liam opened the door but stayed in the frame, one hand on the edge, blocking the entry without needing to make a show of it. Melissa looked terrible, still in traces of last night's makeup. Hair rushed back, sunglasses shoved on top of her head like she had driven over without fully thinking. Her anger arrived before her words. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Liam looked at her calmly. "I was about to ask you the same thing. Your accounts are frozen," she snapped. "The house code doesn't work. The shop access is gone. Are you out of your mind? Where's Benjamin?" Her face changed for a fraction of a second. Tiny, but there. "I don't know what you're talking about." Liam almost pitied how automatic the lie sounded. "Not a strong opening." "Move," she said, trying to step forward. "This is my house too." "Not in the way you thought it would be." That landed. Melissa narrowed her eyes. "What is that supposed to mean?" "It means the affair is over." Pause. "The theft is over." Pause. "And the plan involving my parents' farm is over." The anger in her face didn't disappear. It reorganized, into calculation, into defense, into search for an angle mode. She exhaled sharply and changed tactics. "Liam, listen to me carefully. No apology, no shock, just management. Yes, Benjamin and I got too close." She said it like she was acknowledging a minor HR issue. "It was a mistake." Liam laughed once, not loudly, just in disbelief. "A mistake?" He stepped slightly closer. "Fake invoices are not a mistake. Secret transfers are not a mistake. Trying to use my parents' land as collateral is not a mistake. That is not infidelity, Melissa. That's criminal planning." Her expression tightened. "You are overreacting." "No," Liam said, "I'm responding accurately." That was when fear finally showed. Small, but real. "What did you do?" "I hired a lawyer." Silence. Melissa swallowed. "You wouldn't." "I already did." Her jaw flexed. "Liam?" "And I made a formal complaint." Now the blood really drained from her face. "You called the police?" "I documented you." That sentence hit harder than anything else, because people like Melissa could talk around accusations. Evidence was different. "You can't prove anything," she said, but the confidence was breaking now. Liam's voice stayed level. "I can prove transfers, altered records, false vendors, emails, messages, and your very creative plans for my family's property." Her breathing changed, faster now. She moved from persuasion to aggression in seconds, like a switch snapping. "You went through my things? You stole from my life." She lunged forward and slapped at him, but Liam caught her wrist before the hit landed. Not hard, not violent, just firm. Don't. The word came out quiet enough to be dangerous. Melissa yanked her arm back. What about Derek? She demanded instantly, pivoting again. You think you can keep my son from me? Liam didn't answer immediately, because before he could, a voice behind him did. You should go, Mom. Melissa froze. Derek was standing halfway down the hallway, barefoot, arms crossed, face pale but steady. She softened instantly, or pretended to. Derek, baby? No. That one word cut through her. You don't understand, she began. I understand enough. Derek stepped closer. I saw you with him at the wedding. Melissa looked at Liam with raw hatred. You told him? Liam didn't answer. Derek did. I figured most of it out myself. She turned back to him. He's turning you against me. Derek's face hardened in a way Liam had never seen before. No, you did that. Melissa flinched. For years I called him Dad, Derek said, and you were happy about that when it made your life easier. Now her breathing was becoming uneven. Tears started gathering. Maybe real, maybe not. With Melissa, Liam no longer assumed anything was sincere. Derek, she whispered, pack a bag. You're coming with me. He didn't move. I'm staying here. I'm your mother. And he's been more of a parent to me than anybody else. That one landed like a physical blow. Melissa stared at him like she genuinely hadn't expected resistance. That was the problem with selfish people. They always assumed loyalty would keep serving them. Then the mask slipped, fast, violent. You ungrateful little... She stopped herself too late. The words had already shown who she was. Liam stepped forward. Leave. Melissa pointed at him, shaking. Before me, you were just some mechanic in a shop pretending it was a business. Liam didn't blink. And before me, you were just a woman with choices. Pause. You made the wrong ones. That enraged her more than yelling would have. You think you've won? Liam held the door open wider. I think you're out of time. Melissa backed away slowly, fury and panic fighting for control of her face. This isn't over. Liam met her eyes. It is for me. Then he closed the door. Not hard, not dramatic, just final. For several seconds, neither he nor Derek spoke. Then Derek let out a breath like he'd been holding it for months. That was intense. Liam put a hand on the back of his neck. It may get worse before it gets better. Derek looked up at him. You're not getting rid of me that easily, Dad. That nearly broke him. But before Liam could answer, there was another knock. Different this time. Measured. Official. Liam opened the door to find Detective Karen Doyle standing there with two uniformed officers. Mr. Harris? That's me. We need to ask you a few questions regarding a complaint filed this morning. Liam nodded once. Let me guess. Melissa claims I locked her out and stole company property. Detective Doyle lifted an eyebrow. You're familiar with the playbook. I am now. He stepped aside. Come in, I have something for you too. 10 minutes later, they were seated at the dining table while Liam walked them through the evidence package in order. Bank statements, transfer logs, email printouts, vendor records, annotated timelines, screenshots. Doyle's expression changed page by page. By the end, she closed the folder slowly. This is substantial. I had to be thorough, Liam said. They weren't amateurs. Doyle nodded. No, they weren't. Then she looked up. Mr. Harris, Benjamin Brown is not Benjamin Brown. Liam stayed still. The detective continued. His actual name is Michael Barlow. Pause. He's tied to similar fraud patterns in at least 2 other states. Derek, who had been standing near the hallway listening, went pale. What kind of patterns? Liam asked. Detective Doyle answered without dramatics. He targets successful local businesses through vulnerable access points. Usually a spouse or partner who feels overlooked, undervalidated, or entitled to more. Liam felt sick in a way rage never produced. So Melissa wasn't special. No. Doyle's voice stayed neutral. She was useful. That sentence stayed with Liam longer than almost anything else. Useful. Not loved, not chosen. Used. It didn't absolve Melissa, but it explained Benjamin. Then Doyle added something worse. We also recovered communications suggesting there was a second operative planned for this case. Liam frowned. A what? A woman named Jennifer Cross. She appears to specialize in relationship insertion and emotional manipulation. Derek looked confused. Liam didn't. He understood immediately. She was supposed to approach me. Doyle nodded. After the marriage destabilized, yes. The room went still. The whole thing had been larger than betrayal. It had been architecture, designed, sequenced, built, which made Liam angrier than the affair ever had. Over the next several days, everything accelerated. Legal meetings, emergency filings, forensic accounting, vendor corrections, damage control with staff. Liam told his core employees enough to protect the business, not enough to turn it into gossip. Most of them had already sensed something was wrong. By Wednesday afternoon, Michael Barlow, still known around town as Benjamin Brown, was arrested near the Canadian border with a large portion of the siphoned funds routed through layered accounts and cash withdrawals. Melissa was picked up the same evening at a roadside motel 2 counties over. She hadn't called Derek. That told Liam everything. Derek asked whether they should go to the arraignment. Liam said no. There are some images you don't need in your head forever. Derek didn't argue. Maybe because part of him was relieved. The final piece came 5 days later. Robert Harris called from the farm. "There is a woman here asking about you." Liam's body went cold instantly. "What's her name?" "Jennifer. Says she knew you years ago. Says she's worried." Liam stood so fast his chair tipped over. "Dad, listen carefully, that's her." Silence. "What do you mean?" "She's connected to Michael." "Don't tell her anything. I'm on my way." He called Detective Doyle from the truck, then drove harder than he had in years. When Liam arrived, Jennifer Cross was sitting at his mother's kitchen table with a mug of coffee between both hands like she belonged there. She was attractive in a careful, constructed way. Not unforgettable, intentionally approachable. The kind of face designed to lower suspicion. She smiled when Liam entered. "Liam, I was hoping—" "Stop," she paused. "I know who you are." Her smile remained in place a second too long. "I think you've confused me with someone else." "No," Liam said. "I think you've spent a career betting on that." Robert and Elaine looked between them, confused but alert. Liam kept his eyes on Jennifer. "You never went to school with me. You were never an old family friend. And you didn't come here out of concern." Jennifer's face flattened. No more warmth, no more act. "Careful," she said quietly. Liam stepped aside just as Detective Doyle and 2 officers entered through the open front door. "Good timing," Doyle said. Jennifer stood abruptly, chair scraping hard against the floor. "This is insane." Doyle moved forward. "No," she said. "It's over." As the officers cuffed Jennifer, Liam watched her expression cycle through indignation, calculation, then finally fear. That was the look he had been waiting to see from all of them. Not pain, consequences. After the officers let her out, Doyle turned back. "With her in custody, we've got the full structure." Liam nodded slowly. "So that's it?" "Almost." The arrests made news fast. Small town stories always did. And this one had everything people fed on. Affair fraud, family land fake identity, multi-state scam. Michael Barlow pleaded first. Too much evidence. Too many records. Too many prior patterns. Jennifer cooperated next and tried to bargain herself into relevance. Melissa held out the longest. She tried denial, then minimization, then victimhood. But none of it survived the evidence, especially once prosecutors introduced the communications about the farm. That was the part no jury could forgive. Liam attended the proceedings because he needed to see the thing through, not out of vengeance, out of completion. Derek came some days ago, silent. Older somehow, not hardened, just changed. At sentencing, Melissa turned once and looked back at Liam. For a second, stripped of strategy, she looked like someone waking up too late. "I loved you once," she said. Liam believed her. And that was what made it tragic. Because she had loved him, just not enough to stop choosing herself. Outside the courthouse, cameras and local reporters were already waiting. Liam paused at the top of the steps, Derek beside him, sunlight sharp against the concrete. For weeks, his life had belonged to lawyers, detectives, filings, damage control, and other people's lies. Now the whole town wanted a statement. What none of them understood yet? was that the most important part of the story wasn't the collapse. It was what came after. By the time the courthouse emptied, Liam Harris understood something most people didn't learn until much later in life. Justice doesn't feel like triumph. Not the real kind. It doesn't arrive like applause. It arrives quietly, as absence. The absence of fear. The absence of confusion. The absence of waiting for one more lie. Reporters called after him as he walked down the courthouse steps. Questions, cameras. Local headlines are already writing themselves. The honest mechanic. The man who exposed the scam. The husband who took down his cheating wife and a professional con artist. Liam ignored all of it. He kept walking. Because none of those people had lived inside the silence of that house. None of them had lain awake beside betrayal pretending not to feel it. None of them had watched a boy he loved get dragged into adult deception he never should have had to see. The story belonged to the town now. But the damage had belonged to them. And healing would too. 3 months later, Harris Off-Road and Performance was breathing again. Not fully healed, but steady. Which, for Liam, mattered more. The court ordered restitution, and against all expectations, a large portion of the money was actually recovered after authorities traced Michael Barlow's hidden accounts and layered transfers. It didn't erase what had happened, but it stopped the bleeding. Liam hired 2 new mechanics, rebuilt vendor trust, restructured internal controls, moved bookkeeping completely outside the family. No shortcuts, no blind trust, no shared access without verification. Pain, Liam had learned, was expensive. But if a man paid attention, it could also teach precision. The shop came back stronger, quieter, leaner, cleaner, and somehow more honest than before. His parents' farm was safe too. Liam made sure of that personally. With Ellen's help and Robert's blessing, he worked with a conservation trust to place the land under protected easement restrictions. No speculative development. No predatory leverage. No one would ever be able to use that land as a shortcut to quick money again. It would remain what it had always been meant to be. Family ground. Protected not because it was profitable, but because it was part of who they were. Derek stayed with Liam. Of course he did. By then, the question wasn't really legal. It was emotional. Practical, obvious. The house had already chosen its center of gravity, and it wasn't Melissa. She requested a visit once from county jail before sentencing was finalized. Derek asked Liam whether he should go. Liam didn't answer for him. That mattered. Too many adults had already made too many selfish choices around that boy. So Liam just said, "You don't owe anyone a performance, but if you need clarity, go get it." Derek went. When he came back, he was quiet all evening. No anger, no breakdown, just quiet. Liam waited until later when they were sitting on the back porch and the night had settled enough to make honesty easier. "How was it?" Derek stared out into the dark for a while before answering. "She cried." Liam said nothing. Derek shrugged slightly. "I thought seeing her like that would make me hate her less. Or more. I don't know." He rubbed his palms together. But mostly it just made her seem small. That word stayed in the air. Small. Not evil. Not mythical. Not all-powerful. Just a person who made choices and got buried under them. "You okay?" Liam asked. Derek nodded after a moment. "Yeah." Then more quietly. "I think I needed to see that she's not some giant monster." Pause. "She's just sad. And she kept choosing the worst thing she could choose." Liam looked at him then. Really looked at him, and felt a strange combination of heartbreak and pride. Because compassion after betrayal wasn't weakness. It was proof that the betrayal hadn't poisoned you. And Derek, despite everything, had somehow kept that part of himself intact. Life eventually resumed the way life always does. Not dramatically. Gradually, the scandal cooled. People found newer things to talk about. The whispers at grocery stores faded. The looks of pity turned into normal nods again. At the hardware store, at church fundraisers, at the feed supplier, at the diner, people stopped seeing Liam as the man from the scandal and started seeing him again as what he had always been. Dependable, solid, still standing. Sam Moore remained what he had always been too. The kind of friend who didn't disappear when life got ugly. He never overtook it. Never turned Liam's collapse into a story for other men over beer. He just showed up. Extra hands at the shop. Coffee when mornings were bad. silence when silence was needed. Liam never forgot that. A year later, on an ordinary Thursday that didn't seem important at first, Derek was waiting on the porch when Liam got home. He had that look on his face teenagers tried to hide when they were excited and failing. "What's that?" Liam asked, nodding toward the envelope in his hand. Derek tried to play it cool. Failed. "Open it." Liam took the envelope. Montana State University, engineering, early acceptance. For 1 second, Liam just stared. Then he looked up. "You got in?" Derek laughed. "I got in." Liam pulled him into a hug so fast the envelope nearly crumpled between them. "That's my boy." Derek groaned the way teenagers do when they're embarrassed and happy at the same time. "I wanted to tell you in person." "Why didn't you say you applied early?" He shrugged. "Wanted it to be real first." It was such a Derek answer that Liam laughed despite the sting behind his eyes. That boy had become careful with hope. Too careful for his age. Liam hated that, but he also understood where it came from. "You're going to be an engineer," Liam said, shaking his head like he still couldn't quite believe it. Derek smirked. "Assuming I pass senior year first?" "You rebuilt half a transmission at 15, Liam said. "You'll survive calculus." "Second in calculus," Derek corrected automatically. Liam looked at him. "What?" "Emily Parker beat me by 2 points. Liam stared for a beat, then laughed. "Yeah, but can Emily Parker diagnose a driveline vibration by sound alone?" Derek grinned. "Probably not." "Then you're still ahead." They drove out to the farm that evening to tell Robert and Elaine in person. Derek wanted that. And that mattered more than any restaurant celebration Liam could have planned. Robert read the letter twice before clapping Derek on the shoulder, with enough force to nearly knock him sideways. Elaine cried almost instantly. Not delicate tears. Real ones. The kind that come from relief, pride, and all the things nobody says out loud. Dinner turned into one of those accidental family nights that lasted longer than intended. Neighbors stopped by. Someone brought pie. Someone else brought cider. People laughed. Stories got repeated. Robert told the same story twice. Elaine pretended not to notice. And Derek, who once stood on the edges of every room waiting to see if he belonged there, sat in the middle of it all like he had always been part of that family. Because by then, he had. On the drive home, Derek fell asleep in the passenger seat, still in his farm jacket, head tilted toward the window, acceptance letter resting on his lap. Liam kept one hand on the wheel and glanced over at him once at a red light, then again at the driveway, then once more before turning off the engine. There was a time, not that long ago, when Liam thought betrayal had ruined everything. His marriage, his home, his future, his ability to trust his own judgment. And maybe for a while it had ruined those things, but not permanently, because betrayal can take a lot. Money, time, illusions. The version of love you thought you had, what it can't take unless you hand it over, is your ability to rebuild. That was the part no one tells you. Not every ending is a loss. Some endings are an extraction, a removal of rot, a brutal clearing, and once the wreckage is gone, you finally get to see what was worth saving. Liam got out of the truck, walked around to Derek's side, and opened the door carefully. Derek stirred. "We home?" Liam looked past him at the house, at the porch light glowing warm against the dark, at the life that remained after all the lies had burned away. Then he looked back at the boy who had become his son in every way that actually mattered. "Yeah," Liam said softly. "We're home." And for the first time in a very long time, the word meant something true. If this story made you feel something, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling us what you would have done in the main character's place, and subscribe to Sinner Stories so you never miss a new video.